Yeah, man, we'll keep it straight at all times, eh? All right, so what we do with the economy today? I mean, I look at the amount of money EU, the amount of grant them get, and the amount of money we owe as a country, because we indebted body, the indebted country, you know, because we owe some 14 billion US. Same in a debt, you know. That's our 2.8 trillion dollar. Yeah, man. And me watch a new man now just take a while. I'm take a minute and 30 seconds out of it with the Prime Minister talk. And Prime Minister, let me tell you this. Let me go to come talk straight. This way you talk, a crap, you know. Nobody not tell me, me just tell you this. When you get the money for certain support, right? Yeah? And development assistance from the European Union. And out of the money there, I know me not see when they develop and do what I want. To get more money than what we owe in them. Carefully get over the 43 years when you get around 22 billion or over that already from them. When you get 1.5 bill and we don't know what to do with them money is coming like us. Them just go into the money and want to just use it for themselves. Because they not spend it amongst the people them. And then I be a taxes and you go come out. I'm just showing people them things. You come out about new taxes and about blaming and people them can't show a relief and they on a showmanship. When they're not a showmanship, nobody gonna eat that again. Them kind of speaking out, them kind of chatty and them it now well nobody. You come like them bogus pastor you know. And nobody not tell them, me I gotta tell you straight. You understand? Me a man in the wilderness, me just chat my mind, you know. What me see, you know. That's why me not in a politician. Them is pirate. Just look on this. Look on this. So me just take a little couple minutes out of this before me go to the EU. So me have to show him. Just a watch it, right? So me just cut off it because it's a foolishness. Just a watch this live.
Parliament must do more than just talking about the struggles of the poor. Governments people because of bad policy and maladministration.
You see this?
For decades, the struggling people of Jamaica tuned into these budget debates with great trepidation and fear that a new set of taxes will be added onto their baskets of...
So where must it make sense? And look at the man I got great trepidation and fear because new set of others. Listen me, Prime Minister. When we money the value gone 150 to 1 and new taxes and everything gone up on it. Stop your crap. And people and look on them and hey, people will forget rid of them people are still, you know. Yeah? Them a take Jamaican, them take everybody for dons. If you have a money when it's 120 to 1 and 250 to 1, you don't and remember, you know, them sit on there trade with money. Seeing with dollar. And devalue. Them just use 35 billion put in the budget. So them know what them a do. So this don't make no sense at all about them not put on taxes and more taxes them get. Because remember, you know, when everything go up, I can play it back. When everything go up, plus the GCT where you pay upon it. So the more money you pay, you must pay a bigger GCT. You understand? So if you pay something $10, say 15%. And you pay $1. 15%. So you know, say you pay $1.15. When at $10, you not pay more GCT that. Eh? It equal to more. Them not gonna get $15. $15 for every $100. Every $1. See? $15 for every $100. Watch this.
Parliament must do more than just talking about the struggles of the poor. Governments people because of bad policy and maladministration.
And them a clap.
For decades, the struggling people of Jamaica tuned into these budget debates
Yeah.
with great trepidation and
Yeah, there.
fear that a new set of taxes will be...
You see them kind of talking and work with nobody again, Prime Minister. More and them show you and me, I tell you this. We at the point, and you tap and I put emphasis per word that it don't make no sense. This is stupidness. Straight up.
added onto their baskets of birth.
Check your thing, fire. Take your thing, man. Do it. Look what you do. Yeah, man. Let me just play about that again. Hear this.
Madam Speaker, it gives me great pleasure to say that this administration has not added to the tax burden of the people.
Are you there? Eh?
And for
That
Jamaica,
real? If you say you gotta keep real to the people, you mean not to the tax burden. When make Bank of Jamaica run on a devalue with dollar and all kind of things, it no must add to the tax burden. When I give back the people them the money when everything gone up, brother.
no ordinary achievement, given our high debt profile of our public finances and the significant impact of the pandemic on our economy, that we can deliver a budget in the midst of crisis and say, no new taxes.
And just I'm cut him off. This a foolishness, yeah? This. So you are talking about budget and thing. You're supposed to come with packages. To the 130 people, 1,000 people will lose them job. Or something more here about them. More here about the people they must sit down for 1 year and you know have nothing at all. See Biden just win. And everybody favor pick me up around $1,400 them I get. $1,400 every home that's a 14. In a Canada and a UK and all about what you do. 10,000 for last year, but you get a bag of things and a bag of money. And you there talk about new taxes. On top of that, eh? Them man are sick to backside. You see me as a charm, them man are sick. Me no want to listen to them man ya. So me have to move him, me have to cut him off of my thing same time because we must say no make no sense. And you see the one of them a clap, that mean the one of them agree with them foolishness. So we know say, Sita, we know say the EU give them over 22 billion over 43 years. See? So Kingston, Jamaica has benefit from 1.5 billion euros. Euros! Bucks and not even dollars. Yeah, a euro. Development assistance from the United Union over the past 43 years. The fund which are primarily granted resources have spanned sectors such as education, human rights awareness, security, agriculture, rural development, public financial management, and private sector enhancement. So you tell me now, which part when you see them funds here over the years, if them get so much money over the years, which part when you see them funds who them benefit? Who it benefit? Me no know. Me no know who this benefit because me no see nothing alone them give the funds and them said this, embassy is a grant, you know. So it now go, see that? You can't see it. Them talk to the JIS. The EU has also provide budgetary support for strengthen public financial management. Everybody know the sources of the International Monetary Fund program that provide fiscal management and there we just recognize and strengthen what has already been achieved, she pointed out. So this money and the money it not provide a grant, you know, see there? A grant. See it? So it not contribute, see that? It not contribute or add to the country debt burden. So but we want to know how much money our country owe now where our great grandparents them have to go bear back and pay back. We want to know how much money we owe. Jamaica decades of debt. So you have to search them, you have to research one of them things, you know. So we want so much money we owe. We are look at our infrastructure and all kind of things and with that and it's not pretty. Let me say I can't find it here, so wait there. Wait there. Me just find it. I have to find it, you know. Alright, see ya. Oh, me don't know all that I cut off. Come here, watch it here. 2020. And a billions to here. See there? See that side there? See? So you notice all when them pay. When them get up and them pay, and if that a billion 14 at 2021 now. So them are expect it for 2021 to 14.3 billion. But by 2022 it will go back again. The prediction. 14.29 billion. And then 14.19 billion. By you see this? That means alone we are paying so much money. We are spending so much money. And this in the US. That means we have bag of money, we not gonna stop pay this. You know, see what them turn we back in a slave. The people them turn we not in a slave. You understand? Country now go dig out. Can't dig out that way here. See? So when I see them pan them budget debate, me like see them thing when me see them thing and me see where we are go. And me see all the politicians them live big. And all the whole of them rich. Out of nothing at all. Me for bond them. Me not listen to them. Cause what them do, you know. You what them do and catch people now. Over the years, them come and make nice like pastor. And the debt burden, and we, and no new taxes, and people they pay you. Like when I hear that, me telling you before, listen to me. When the dollar devalue, it's like you have a recession again. Because there is no way the dollar will devalue and lose value like that to the US, right? And we trade by the US, Jamaica dollar can't leave the island. It have no use. It's a piece of it. It can't spend no way. It no value it. Nobody not change it. No bank not take it. Nobody not see it. It's a worthless piece of paper when it leave out of your place. American money, it no worthless when you go any country now because it can't spend there. Our money can't spend at 80. Them no want it. You understand? So if it leave out of your show, nobody no want it. No have no use to them. Our money you don't go find it at no bank where them are putting in them reserve and a buy it up. No have no use, none at all. See? So we use the US and we use Euro and Canadian and them money there. See? And pound. But the US, we trade the US are the money where you understand we trade right through the world. Them use that for a benchmark. See? And when your money they value, that will push up your, the electricity, the oil where them want the gas, everything gone up. A matter of fact, gas gone up. Them say the highest between when I went right now. Can them put up how much gas to sustain the rise? When you full your tank of gas to how much money you spend. And this man I said no new taxes. When you spend your money, when you go up the supermarket, plus tax, everything gone up plus tax. So right away them sit down and make a bag of new taxes. So them they really want to come and then announce more new tax. Our country if it stay like this. They are a third world country and every year these people come and just push on more taxes and look how them live. Look at the money where them take and pay for them salary and them friend and what them do. That's why the country run up in all kind of things. Me not listen them. Me not listen them. See? So me want to play something here. Me never gonna show it, me want to play it, yeah? And me couldn't understand how Jamaican man. Look on this. Look on this. We just buy a bus the other day. And look on a bus here. Look on a bus here. Man I drive the bus, you know. Look on this. Look on this. Look here. The driver with one hand and that dangerous, you know. What way am I going to do? Water run pan him. At Jamaica bus this, you know. JUTC, I wait name. Wait name, I sweat name.
Never mind me, darling. That's how life goes. JUTC is just flatness. Flatness. Total flatness. I want to come to friends and
look here. See there? See my brother there? See what upon him there? The driver, one hand and a driver bus with one hand. When you see what happened upon the man?
What kind of bus tell me the driver? Compare passenger.
I tell you, this is a don't country, I say I have no respect for nobody at all. For the common man, them, for the common citizen. You have to step up and you have to bond them. Me and them can't be friends. This is what people have to go through. You in a bus and water wet you. And now go you alone with the driver. Driver have to have him umbrella. And I use one hand drive a big bus. Say if something, can't throw him off. But just you know get wet up and everything. Eh? But money I go. Them come and tell us, make a fight crime. I say no. I get all kind of money for social development and everything. I want to spend it. I want to get money from US too. And from other things. And we build, we still over 14 billion US in a debt. We have 14 billion US in a debt. And the kid them pay it now, go down it now, move. So we want to know all the money there, how we come up to that. So I'm going to play. I draw this. I want to play this soon a year. The video I tell them about I have to play this. But I have to play this. Because I want to know how this come up to them kind of thing. Yeah. And what we're going to do about it and them things. So, Mr. Man, we have to play a thing like this for open the people them eyes. Stop. When them there in the market, I not listen to them. Man, they them like you mock people about this government and no new taxes. Me no joke with you, no guy. No guy no come tell me them foolishness there. None. You see me I say? And them I tell the people them too much foolishness and people them I rock to it too long, you know. See? Chat to them straight. Anybody from the government hold them accountable. No, we don't care who. And by the way, you have shadow cabinet, the opposition, part of it too. See? Because when them feel the code, them not the code. So what we do is like over the years we just exchange them. And them a crush we. Time for that stop. All of that a foolishness. You see me I say? All of that a foolishness. So make I find this thing here. Make I find this thing here for a plate right now. Because this are more than sin, man. This a height of foolishness. You understand? Let's see what it name. With this name. Now if I play this I make on the ear so I understand the thing more. The cost, okay. Okay, so I can't find this thing I want to the ear. And this is how Jamaica, how the economic start get wrecked and mash up over the years. And we owe so much money, when we get money and pay things. You understand? We get, saying? And it continue right now. So I could hear what I'm going so. Oh, we're not plug in this. Plug it in fast, yeah. Well, alright. See? So, me just watch the budget debate in the America now, so it don't impress me at all. Because the bag of noise and the bag of unison clap and them thing, they just are embarrassing. You know, you're like you're Mac and J-way. I like the way I eat that. We're not joining that with no guy. No guy. We're no business. We talk truth to power. Me not the wilderness for ball out. So, I could just hear this and hear what I go on. Just listen to this with me.
To see and hear exists in reality in Jamaica and has become one of the many unfortunate chapters in our young history. Every source of information was found in the public domain and represents only the truth as it exists. Corruption in its various forms is a serious threat to the social order and the rule of law.
Corrupted peoples are really criminals.
Corruption starts at the head of our government system and comes right down.
You know, the governance part, that's where most of the problem lies within the country now.
You're corrupt in such a way that you can't stand up, okay? If you say something you're gonna get well done. Frankly speaking, that's a joke.
We know everybody corrupt. Jamaica corrupt. And the whole of them corrupt. The whole of them corrupt.
You know, who is one of the main reasons for corruption.
We are a corrupt society in so many ways. We maim, harm, and kill each other for greatly and vulnerable reasons.
The film you are about to see is about a matter of major and growing concern amongst the Jamaican people from all walks of life, of every political persuasion, and as well concern to our friends in the international community. It is about the costs of corruption to Jamaica and to each and every Jamaican. We are truly proud as Jamaicans of our achievements since independence, but we could have achieved so much more had we brought corruption more under control.
True.
I am Professor Trevor Monroe, Head of National Integrity Action, and in the next hour, you're going to be hearing from experts dealing with different episodes of corruption that have bedeviled our country and our progress over the last 40 years.
Oh, do I think Jamaica is a corrupt place? Yes, it is. Yeah, very corrupt.
Transparency International give Jamaica a ranking of 3.3 out of 10, where the closer you get to 0, the more corrupt you are. And it actually argues that in Jamaica, corruption is the norm.
Corrupted peoples are really criminals. So, same way as how you define the criminals, the same way you should define corruption.
Of course.
Where is the money going? What you doing with all these monies?
But many people have reported that the experience of low-level corruption has diminished considerably in recent years. So what the score probably reflects is the continued existence of high-level corruption, which really reflects the way that our political system is still contaminated by links with organized crime.
I think the government needs to be more interactive with the people of the country. I think they need to know what people want for the country and not just decide for them.
In reality, if it was the lower level end persons only in the corruption, I mean, that could have been dissolved a long time. Because the higher level would come in and vote for that. See, if the king is corrupt, then his soldiers gonna be corrupt. And his followers gonna be corrupt. I'm not saying the government is corrupt, but I'm saying it's coming from the top end level.
If not say the government is corrupt, the government corrupt. No, remember in the government, both when them swing both ways, you always find something in them classes and think them corrupt. So, you know, we not play a sideman show yourself. The government corrupt.
Corruption starts at the head of our government system and comes right down. So if I can't comment on corruption because not that I'm not aware of it, I know that it exists, but where it starts from, where it comes from, I cannot tell you.
My particular concern is the complicity of government and those who are in political leadership.
Remember now, I'm all who fought this. I'm all who fought this.
And what they should do differently and how they allow things to go by and even contribute to a public office being misused.
We have never really go forward with actually prosecuting someone of status with these laws. And I think that is really what perpetuates the crime of corruption, you know.
I feel corruption is not a small man or a big man issue. It's an everybody thing. We are supposed to look into it. You understand me?
Right now.
I remember just answer that look I virgin never just talk. We are supposed to, we can't look at it. You can't look at it, but when I just sit down and follow back at the same politician them and I buy and I sell on a vote, on a corrupt too. Yeah? So if you stop it. Looking at it, stop it. None of them can come tell you say, hey, we have vote because we not have vote for you. You understand? So you can't bring the money and buy we out neither. You can't come buy we. So if it easy for them thing there. You understand? Stop make them bribe on it too, yeah?
You're having two politicians. You have JNP and PNP. And the whole of them corrupt. The whole of them corrupt.
At the political level, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence and people that speak to you off the record about wanting to do investments in Jamaica, whether local investors or foreign investors, and feeling that either being outrightly asked to pay for services or feeling that because they were unwilling to, then whatever ideas they had did not get to the top of the chain.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the 1960s, when Jamaica was amongst the fastest growing economies in the world, we received what was up until that point the largest loan to a developing country granted by the World Bank, and we received that loan for educational purposes.
When you listen good now, what start from when the things start get corrupted now and the first time we receive a loan for around $9 million back in the 60s, 63, 66, somewhere there, I could go and listen.
To build schools and institutions that would have been able to receive the influx of young people seeking an educational opportunity in the years after independence. The loan did not achieve its purpose as intended. There were immense cost overruns, 100%, which contributed to the beginnings of our debt, and which had we not had those overruns, we could have built 50 more schools. Reason? Partisan, political award of contracts, not on the basis of merit, not on the basis of competence, but on the basis of party connection.
So this start from the 60s. Yeah? Just listen.
And of course, the contractors gave back to the politicians, to the party, kickbacks in appreciation for this political corrupt behavior. Jamaica suffered then, and we continue to suffer now from this political corruption that we need to bring to an end.
I tell you, say, boy, you see corruption always strive because of them, it starts from them and it continues to the year. You understand? That's how I burn them. People don't forget real. Me not the wilderness about
education is a key.
After 5 decades of independence, a lot of Jamaicans have begun to have doubts as to whether independence is a good thing. And when you look at the problems that Jamaica face, you can trace many of them to a weak or a non-performing education and training system. For me, there are two main objectives about an education and training system. And if it is effective, you'll see it in a productive labor force.
Yeah.
Jamaica has one of the least productive labor forces in the Caribbean.
That's 100%. Listen.
Around the world today. Out of a labor force of some 1.3, 1.4 million, over 900,000 have no training at all.
Sure.
Among the thousands of unemployed, many of them have been to secondary school for 4 years or more, and they don't have one piece of certification. The second objective about an education and training system, and if it is good, it does what I would say, build a more socially cohesive society. Everybody has the same learning experience for the first 11, 12 years. They are able to settle disputes without resorting to violence.
Ignorance, I mean, the simplest thing, they will probably blow out and take it out of proportion and are aggressive towards, while other persons with a more intellectual level will probably reason it out. As how we learn in the primary system, talk it out, don't fight it out, the conflict system.
Don't just fight for no reason sometimes. Legally, this thing escalate and they don't have a big fight.
If you are educated, then you will know what to say, what to do, and take a stand. It's not because a politician put a money in your pocket, I put something in your pocket, you can't say, yo, I turn a blind eye to certain things. You need to be more educated in doing stuff and some of the things that you're saying.
You need to be more true to yourself. So you have some people not really educated, but they have to be more true to themselves. So, you know, when politicians come put money in them, you don't want them put money in your pocket because tell me what that money will come from somewhere. That means they might thief an X amount of money that they can put in your pocket as taxpayers' money. Nah, give it a fin pocket. See me answer?
For the first time in 1953, Jamaican elected Jamaicans became ministers of government. They started to have a bigger say. Up to that time, only 1% was enrolled in the high schools in the country.
Up to that time, 1% in high school.
And so, the decade before independence, Jamaica was well on its way to establishing a first-rate education and training system. On the technical side, the College of Arts, Science and Technology was established. And the technical schools, Kingston Technical, Homewood Technical, Dinty Technical, and then St. Elizabeth Technical, were all given a modern science curriculum. And graduates would feed into the College of Science, Arts and Technology. The effect was there. Within 3 years, Jamaicans were now staffing the bauxite industry. The Jamaican economy grew faster in the decade between 1953 and 1963 than the economy of any developing country in the world. And the prestige of Jamaica was such that in 1966, Jamaica was selected by the World Bank for a very special loan.
This is the first time I get a loan, them select with Philip for a special loan, 1966. Yes, how much trouble started?
For education purposes.
Education purposes.
The amount of money is 9.5 million.
9 million.
But place that in context. For the 10 years, or for the period, more than 10 years, between 1953 and 1966, only 4.5 million was spent on secondary education. And you're now getting a loan of 9.5.
And what this means is that in one shot, between 3 years, it should have been a 3-year program, 1966 to 1969, you would almost have doubled your capacity for secondary education. The way how we spent it gave education and training a setback from which it has never recovered. The government of the day called in Dr. Arthur Burton. He made one very, very important change to the method of hiring contractors. And that was, whereas before there was an established panel of contractors certified.
So back in the days before, the man I call in contractors, back in the days the contractors them they certified, not them contractors nowadays. They just political align and them just get money and them do what they want to do and pay foolishness.
Who members of parliament could recommend from? But a panel at the Ministry of Education would have the final say in choosing. That was changed to allow each member of parliament to recommend the contractors who would build the schools in their constituencies.
That's a big, dirty, nasty mistake. So no, like, them I recommend somebody who is certified and them I recommend a contractor who build the school and for them community. And them friend or them family. Big mistake. So you see from this, so we start go down the hill though. You see it? So when we start really go down the hill. I'm 66 and a piece of food there. Still wait man, we have a money for that. Can't done pay it, you know.
The program lasted not 3 years, but 6. And more importantly, the overrun on the primary school building program was 125%.
Overrun 125%. So it lasts from 66 till around 72. You see that?
And the overrun on the secondary school program, 100%. Which means for the money spent, so the Jamaican taxpayer should have had twice as many schools.
Yeah, for the money spent.
A new administration took government in 1972. And looking at the school building program and what had gone on, there was a big hue and cry for an investigation. In response to that hue and cry, a commission of inquiry was set up, under which came to be known as the Da Costa Commission.
People have to look for the Da Costa Commission and read about it. Yeah, in 72 them set it up.
Now the findings of the Da Costa Commission should be read by every Jamaican.
Yeah.
And the objective is not so much to remind the population of where guilt or blame is, but to try to make sure that this process is never, and these mistakes are never ever repeated. Today, Jamaica has a debt of some $1.7 trillion.
Alright, so the 1.7 trillion when them talk about now, the money, the value and everything, them have a debt of 2.8 trillion now. And a 1.7 again. You understand?
This debt has been accumulated from the time of the loan for education in 1966.
Yeah, that. So the man, them lend their money. And if you look at the debt, we have 14.8 billion US now. Remember 9.8 million them lend, you know. We have 14.8 billion. We have a debt of 2.8 trillion though. Right? I don't know when we're going to pay off that. It accumulated from back there, so and you with the money to earn. We can't pay it off. And then man come and live big in a third world country for people. Like my first world government. And I do one bag of foolishness. And just make one bag of night. We're tired of the whole of them. Tired of them, man.
If those monies had all been spent in a way to get value for money, not only would Jamaica be a fully developed country by now,
but Jamaica would be able to export capital and assist other countries to develop as well. But we are now faced with this debt of 1.7 trillion,
Past that now, 2.8 trillion.
which should have carried us well on the way to economic development by providing useful infrastructure or facilities such as schools and clinics to provide us with first-rate education and health services. And to the extent that those monies were spent without the Jamaican taxpayer getting value for money, you now have the money to pay back, but with a labor force that is far less able to produce the goods and services competitively to pay that money.
And that if we support produce the goods and services, we don't even have infrastructure, we don't even put up something to set up the goods and services. No factories, not at all. All of them the wipe out too. You understand? So we're pay back that money. And them still are go on and borrow and still do things. And sell out everything what we have. Million of them. Jamaica is not a real place.
And for this purpose, more so than anything else, I would recommend that every Jamaican read the report of the Custom Commission just to see how we wasted what I regard as the most important opportunity in the history of independent Jamaica to accelerate the process to provide a first-rate education and training system.
True man, we have to read, we don't have to read that. You see me I say? Because right now, it's a true we are. For me, see them in a Enomaga now, it's a chat about foolishness. One thing me nah get up and do and about way and me know another foolishness. Because when them just a chat take a while, I just crap. Yeah? In a world where you have a pandemic, and you come and talk about no more new taxes and people are slap this and take like an insult. You're thinking about facing to out other man. You understand? And I like every time them put taxes and put and tell them have money for a fixed road and fixed infrastructure and nothing go on. See it?
Big government consultant. I have a contract, a big government contract. US dollars is what I get. Strictly cash. No bounce check.
The consequences related to the corruption in the World Bank loan were that half the schools were built that could have been constructed. Not enough schools were there for the expanding student population, which led to severe overcrowding of classrooms, bad student performance, poor learning outcomes, and low productivity.
But there is hope. Since the end of the 1960s, our people have learned that the political award of contracts on partisan bases and not on competence is hurting Jamaica and holding back our development.
Yeah.
Our authorities have set up an Office of the Contractor General and other anti-corruption institutions, which need to be strengthened, but which are a step forward. This is why National Integrity Action is supporting the establishment of a single anti-corruption agency, which brings together the anti-corruption bodies and gives them prosecutorial powers. But NIA alone cannot do it. What can you do? You need to give us your support in the call for a single anti-corruption commission, and each and every one of us needs to be watchdogs to ensure that money borrowed or money gotten from our taxes gives us value for money and does not end up in the pockets of partisan contractors and ultimately back into the pockets of politicians to fight elections.
And that's one, you know. And that going to stop with them thing, you know, man. It have to stop, man.
Shows is the development of two countries, and we've picked Jamaica and Singapore. And you can see in the background there, the year is running like a clock. Singapore is picked out in red, and Jamaica is picked out in yellow. And you can see the two economies developing almost in parallel throughout the 1930s, the 40s, the 50s, into the 60s, and there we get to the crucial year, early 1970s, and you can see what happens. Jamaica's development effectively stops. while Singapore continues on a high growth path.
I would argue that the data put forward by Transparency International speaks primarily to what happened in the farmer space. Because that is the place you can monitor the most. Nobody tries to study the farmer space because it's too dynamic and it's a bit too expensive. So most of these information coming out is really about what we know as a regular business people. Is that there's some you downtown, you sit on the road with them thing. You don't have time for actually research with those people, it costs too much.
So if you take our more moderate estimate of 7.5% and say, well, if we aggregate that cost over the last 40 years, what does that add up to? And it's well over 18 billion US dollars that we forfeited. Now what that means is that we're currently one of the most heavily indebted countries in the world. Something like 90% of our current public debt is the equivalent of what crime and corruption has cost us these last 40 years.
In 2011, 2012, almost 1/4 of Jamaica's people lived in squatter settlements. In settlements, illegally occupying either government or private land. This resulted from over 100 years of Jamaicans moving from country to town in search of a better opportunity, but without adequate settlement and infrastructure programs. In 1994, the government of the day sought to deal with this problem with Operation Pride. Hundreds of millions of dollars of Jamaican taxpayers' money was invested in this program to regularize the squatting problem. Operation Pride did not achieve its objective to the fullest extent. Why? Numerous irregularities identified by the Auditor General, the Contractor General, as well as a special task force. Irregularities centered around political interference in the award of beneficiaries, in the payment of contracts, which ensured that hundreds of millions of dollars were lost without us Jamaican people getting value for money and sorting out the squatter problem.
So you see it run right across the board. You see me I say? Be a friend thing, be a this, be a that, be a contract, be a this. People are like a contract and we can't even do the work. We never do trade work yet. And that's so bad. It's so bad, man. You see me I say, that's why we say we are born them, we are born them.
That is why.
Fantasy.
From the very start, I built a fundamental element in Operation Pride that would make sure we no longer were distributing houses or land based on political affiliation.
Talking about housing in Jamaica and how difficult it is to get up.
But this, them they infiltrated see when it get bad, because it was a good thing and then it get bad. You understand? Enough party politics, business playing at that, and you know, some guy where, you know, aligned to parties, get this and get that and be a foolishness start.
Because I tell you straight up, it's hard. I'm not even put it for say. It's difficult, it's tough.
I came home from my studies.
It's a Malo fort. You study the current our Attorney General. See this. Yeah.
In 1994, May of 1994, heard about this grand announcement by the government of Jamaica to deal with a comprehensive land policy that would alleviate squatter.
People don't want to live in the country. People want to live in the town. And take for instance, like say Mona Common. People don't want to move from there because of some ties. They have a lot of ties there, so they don't want to move.
Well, my parents, I don't think they had a choice back in the day, based on their background. So they founded this land and was living on it. It is what it is, a squatter community, because we just found the land and lived on it. So it's not that, oh, we're just squatters. I don't think people even look at it. If you go around and you ask people, you're a squatter, they won't be able to tell you what it is. They just know that they're living, right? So if we could get, or if there is anything in place for us to build up the infrastructure, I don't think it would be known as a squatters land.
I'm not sure if you really want to talk to me about Operation Pride, because I was a beneficiary as a young professional.
So here she tell her up front, she was a beneficiary. So who can be a beneficiary if some other little people don't get it? You understand? She was a beneficiary too. See?
And I watched firsthand something that started off as a good idea turning into a corrupt project.
We usually go down by the gully that is in the riverbed, and pack stones. And the money that we should get from that is go towards the same. Well, it's fun name again, but the thing name again we're deal with. This Operation Pride thing, right? So over the years now, it's like the whole of us as citizens here, most of us had tally books, and we used to show because we expected to, come out of this dojo we was living in because of the plans where them come up with us, to us with,
It was something that was supposed to provide a housing solution. In fact, the model was that beneficiaries were also to be part of the equity, the sweat equity. So whomever had skills, you would put your skills to play in creating the communities.
There was this group, and we started throwing money with the intention that we would get a house somewhere. At least I supposed to still have my book with 11,000 in there. I don't know where that money gone. They don't give up the land. They just have the paper. The paper is to show that we are part of it. We paid our money. And you are one of the beneficiary whenever the program get underway and houses are built or whatever it is.
They came in and said we could join this thing and show money in a tally book. So it's like we go and show it by the NCB Bank, which used to open in front of the Shell station there in Ligani.
The project was estimated at around $7 billion, and it should have ran from 1994 to 2007. In 2012, I have heard people saying, I still haven't gotten title. I have paid for the lot that was given to me under Operation Pride, and I still don't know what is happening. I see so many of the Operation Pride sites where the infrastructure work is incomplete. A crying shame.
Alright, for Operation Pride, I see a lot of people get help. Seriously. But it's like friend of friends. When I use friends of friends, I use it like this. If you're in a certain community that generates a lot of votes, then that community will get a little help. When we use a little help, like say Rockford community, Pleasant Heights, and them places. Because of the strong ties within the political, not here if JLP or PMP. They will say, alright then, we are pushing out things to help them people there, to have them own house. You understand me?
And that we are talking about, and that bad for Jamaica. But we want something that's right across the board because Jamaicans are Jamaicans. You see me, I say, and both sides play these kind of things all the time. You understand?
And everybody Operation Pride help. It's not everybody Operation Pride help.
There was a lot of interference politically. Yeah. Because I witnessed firsthand in some cases procedural irregularities. If you're part of a project and you have the minister assisting, because when this is government driven and you're looking to who is at the helm of it for assistance, and then you realize sooner than later that even as you seek to build communities through these Operation Pride, you're building a nation. Part of what went wrong with Operation Pride, there were a lot of informal contracts. So what is the scope of the work to be done? Who knows? I've what cost it is to be done, who knows? As long as at the end of the day, some of the workers in my constituency or some of the people who support me politically are given the work.
Many things went wrong, and a lot of Jamaican money has gone, government money has gone down the drain. We actually have one case in court for overpayments, and there are several others that if the evidence could be put together to go to court. The fact is that in many cases the one does seem to have gone into a deep dark hole.
There is this expectation that once government work is available, it's going to be time for the supporters of the political party to get work with no reference to their competence, and especially in buildings. Every man is a builder. What is the standard at which they're building? Who knows? Road work, everybody can do it. Talking about the infrastructure side now of
you see them know these things that yes, still them still give a contract to these people. Yeah, my hold this, mala hold this, you know. Yeah? Yes, still them still give a contract same way.
Projects like Operation Pride, where roads have to be put in, water pipes have to be laid, whatever, the full works. And so many people, I have seen people on sites who have no competence, really no competence, doing technical work.
People are moving out of the area largely because of crime and violence, but importantly, because of the lag time in terms of infrastructure, road, water and light.
Has enough been done? Of course not, because we're still suffering from a project that meant well but has gone wrong. And what is even worse for me is that we do not learn the lessons. And so you have other projects coming on and you see the same things being done. And the cost gets greater and greater.
So when you hear the politician attack now, because the same thing have been done and they do it right now so. So even if on the next side, opposition side, and because meanwhile, but it go wrong and shall beneficiary of it too. Yeah? And say it go wrong. Meanwhile, but go wrong. And then them come back and I do the same thing again. So people do some up and flip it. And say, make we go now a chance at the same thing. You know, make a different time for them pack up and leave. Them have to leave, them forget. I mean, I thought leave for us go home quiet, so you know. Go and try them to the egg. But I forget them behind the grill, man. When I say, man.
Corruption, development, or democracy, there is a link. If you are tasked with the responsibility of doing something, you must be held accountable for it. And if that...
You hear what she say? And that we are say. That's why the education man, the whole of them feel accountable for the whole of them thing. From this Operation Pride to Petrojam to CP we did over wait him? The one over Port Royal over Airport Road there. See? That mean the farmer minister, the whole of them. You see me I say? The whole of them, both sides in a business.
Accountability includes at the end of the day a prosecution, then by all means.
We got to know where we stand right now. You see, because me fight me struggling and build up my little house here. My family help me, my children them help me. You know where we stand.
One, you know, the serious problem is the land title. Because once you get the land title, then persons will start to develop their infrastructure. And once the infrastructure is in place, then, you know, other bodies will come into Monacommon, giving the persons, the citizens a sense of responsibility. So persons will have to go out and get a job and educate themselves, make sure so everything is happening properly. So the land title will be on the education level, on both schooling, teenage pregnancy, parenting, I mean the roles of the government and the roles of we, the citizens.
Consequences of the corruption related to Operation Pride are the continuation and expansion of island-wide squatting, the facilitation of criminal enclaves, the frustration of inner-city residents, and the hundreds of millions of dollars lost that should have gone to solving the housing crisis.
Operation Pride lost Jamaican taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars and failed to impact the squatter settlement issue.
Nobody not go prison for it yet. You see me at hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah. Nobody not going to prison for it yet neither.
as much as it could have. This harkened back to the late 1960s with the World Bank Education Loan, where once again numerous irregularities, at the heart of which was political interference, impacted Jamaican taxpayers not getting value